Hello, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good day, good afternoon, whatever time you might be watching this or listening to this on the podcast. Um, I'm your host Raymond. I want to welcome you to another episode of Additional Prayers. Um, just like always, the goal behind Additional Prayers is to help others understand that they're not alone. It is also to unify every day with everyday prayer life. The reasoning behind this episode is to help you understand that um, we aren't as lonely as we think we are. And the title is Companionship. The verses will be coming from Joshua 1, verse 7 through 9. And we'll be defining words such as devoted, longing, fellowship, routine, necessary, understand, clarifying or clarify, calm, gratitude, stubbornness, and stressful. Lord, thank you for this opportunity, Lord. Thank you for watching over me last night, Lord. Thank you for watching over me this morning, Lord. I'm going to pray for what you're going to do in the future. I want to thank you for what you've done in the past, Lord. Lord, as I bow my head, I pray for not just me, Lord. I pray for everybody around me, Lord. I pray for my wife and my children, Lord. I pray for my friends, Lord. I pray for each and every individual I come across, Lord. Lord, I pray for my work family, my church family, Lord. I pray for my military family, Lord. I pray for wherever we go, Lord, make it safer there and back, Lord. I pray for whatever we do. It brings you honor and glory, Lord. I pray it brings us one step closer to where you want us to be, Lord. Thank you once again, Lord, for reaching down farther than I can reach up, Lord. Thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, for going to Calvary's Hill, toting that cross, Lord, and bleeding, dying for each one of our sins, Lord. Lord, I want to thank you once again, Lord, for not giving up on me through the hard times and keep lifting me up through the bitter times, Lord. Thank you, Lord, once again for the hedge of protection that you put around for each and every one of us, Lord. I say all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Before I get into this episode, um, to give you a backstory, like always, if you are new to my podcast, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, um, and I'll post my link tree so you don't have to go through whichever one you like to follow. I have an Instagram. Um, you can actually email me. You can if you have any questions or anything like that. Um, I got the YouTube and I have a podcast. You can listen to it on Anchor. You can listen to it on Spotify. Like always, like I tell everybody, this podcast is not for everybody because it is listed under biblical and spiritual, and therefore it scares a lot of people. So I don't go out broadcasting it. It gets around by word of mouth. So make sure if it affects you in a positive way or a negative way, leave a comment, you know. But note, if you leave anything negative, I'm going to call you out. Leave anything positive, I'm going to call you out. So make sure when you leave your comment, you leave something that you're willing to stand by. Um, to get out, and like I said, into the backstory of this, I got into doing a podcast because my sister, my sister and I and my niece, we was having discussion about approximately about 2 years ago, and with my first podcast, I have some old ones. If you listen to it, um, I don't have any old video, but I got a lot of old podcasts. I actually, if you listen to Spotify or listen to the Anchor, you can go to some of the old ones. They're actually the older ones you know by the title. They have a Bible verse instead of actual title and reasoning. It'll just have a Bible verse. But anyway, like I said, I got into it because of my sister and my niece or whatever. My sister had a podcast before I had mine. Hers is Glorified Fitness Incorporated. Um, I'll be posting the link below in the description. But we was discussing a simple concept of making videos and stuff like that. And I like to talk and I like to study, so I put the idea together. The original podcast, which is not online anymore, but under that title, but the new one is Additional Prayers because of the YouTube channel. But the original one was called Things That I Pray For, Passion Over Profit. Um, the idea of the original ones was because I had a passion to pray and I wanted to share with others without charging them anything. And this is one of the probably the only one podcast you'll actually hear or view on YouTube that does not have any ads or anything like that. And I'm gonna try to my best to keep it that way because I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm only here to share and motivate and educate. Um, anyway, I said all that to say this. With this episode of this podcast, like I said, the reasoning is we aren't as lonely as we think we are, and the title is Companionship. Um, my sister, me and her actually wrote this one together. Um, I had, for what individuals that don't know, I have anxiety, and I was off my medication for a couple of days due to shipping issues and stuff for holidays. So being off my medication, I actually, when I'm not on it, I go to dark places. So anyway, and so I called my sister, and I love her to death. And she talked me through some stuff and calmed me down. In the process of her talking to me and calming me down, it led into the reasoning, let me know that I'm not alone, and it led into the actual title, Companionship, because I'm not alone. We're all not alone as we think we are. Um, because even with me with anxiety, I finally did speak up one day about it and made it publicly known. Um, I found out there's multiple individuals, even ones I went to school with many years ago, a lifetime ago, they actually have anxiety. So, but and I never really hit it as a shame thing. I just didn't want nobody to look at me as like a pity party type thing, and that so and then the title of Companionship, like I said, I called my sister and we talked through, and she co-wrote this episode. So in the beginning of this episode for this one, the bonus notes, and pretty much 90% of it is the conversation we had, and then um, with that idea of the bonus notes led into the verses. Once again, is Joshua 1, verse 7 through 9 goes along with that. And then with the regular notes or definitions, some people I like to call them notes, it's things that go along. It's like a snowball effect. It started with the idea of me and her. She talking me through some things and calming me down, and it led into the finished product, which is this episode of this podcast. I know it was a long intro, but I had to get that out to help you guys understand. Like I said, the bonus notes, like I said, is the conversation, the gist of it, not the entire conversation, but the gist of the conversation that me and her had. All right. It says here. Now it goes back and forth. Before I jump in, I apologize. I keep stalling. It goes back and forth. It's the idea of what I said versus what she said. So I'll let you guys try to decipher that. All right. It says here, I should not be left alone with my own thoughts. And my sister says, it's the devil that wants us alone. She says, God desires mankind to be around others. And we both agreed on that even Adam had Eve. And we agreed on also that Jesus had disciples. And she goes on, she says, no man is an island. Thank God for using me to reach others. Now, we both agreed on that because we both, like I said, we both have podcasts. Like my podcast slash YouTube channel is, as I said before, it's biblical, spiritual, motivational, educational. Hers is like I said, it's Glorified Fitness Incorporated. She has she does tutoring. She's more into the mind, body, and spirit as a oneness. Me, I'm not into the body things, but I do try to help you mentally and spiritually. Um, it says here, sometimes I need to feel love, and that was me, being under the anxiety. And I said, see, I'm gifted from above, but I get robbed from below. That was the idea of me understanding that this is a God-given talent. We all have them, and you got to learn to embrace that. When I said that I get robbed from below, is the idea of I sometimes let my environment, the worldly things steal my joy. It says here, I can't fight this alone. I know this, and this is me getting centered, me gaining the understanding. It says I've been looking at it from the wrong angle. Once again, it goes with that look, the understanding, that getting centered, because she said some things and it started affecting me at this point. And she says, God is better than anything that I can face. We often try to carry heavy loads alone. And this goes back to the title of Companionship. And this also goes back to the reasonings that we're not as lonely as we think we are. Thank to God that she answered the phone and she had a voice of reasoning. And I like I said, I'm gonna give her flowers. I'm gonna give her. I'll speak through it the whole podcast, and I'm going to also, like I said, put a link in there. So you feel free. She has a YouTube channel. If you love fitness, if you love, like I said, she's a tutor. She's actually a travel agent. My sister is like multi-talented, man. She's a whiz with computers and stuff. So I highly encourage everybody to check her out. So make sure to click on the link. I'm gonna post it. Goes on to say, if we don't adhere to the inner voice of our environment, we will continue to make our environment worse. Because I added that note because we got to understand that, like us, if you don't have the heart knowledge, you never had the head knowledge. Because we're often fall victim to the idea of, oh, this is something I felt in my heart. Well, if Jesus Christ, good Lord above, and the Holy Spirit is not in your heart, you're going to be blinded and follow your head. And if you follow your head, you're going to go down the wrong path. You have to have your whole heart in it, to get what the process is. Learning to be around others help us notice our own flaws. Now, this note here, in the bonus notes, I actually didn't get it from my sister. I actually got this one from my brother. He's incarcerated right now. I got it from him because I was telling him about me writing this actual episode, this script here, and we got to talking about the way we grew up. To ones that don't know me, I grew up extremely poor in a little town sitting north of Mobile, Alabama, and south of Montgomery. It's a little dot on the map, a little small population, probably like 300 people or so, if that. And last year or so, I took my kids back home, and they was shocked. They didn't know, they'd never been there to my hometown. And they was like, Dad, you grew up here? And I was like, yeah. And it's like, it's nothing here. And I was like, it was my whole world for 13 years. So to them, growing up here in North Carolina versus me growing up in Alabama, it's different. And we never, like me and my brother were discussing, we never knew that we were poor until we went somewhere where somebody had money. Because in a town so small or had a small population, we all was on the same playing field. And so, like I said, the note is learning to be around others help us notice our own flaws. We learned that we were poor because we seen somebody who had money, or in the sense of learning that you can fall victim to thinking you're weak because you're around weak people until you get around somebody that's strong. Um, Next one is things that we can change in our lives and relationships. That note comes from the idea of we can change our lives by understanding which path to go down. We all have that, like I said, with the heart. We all have that heart knowledge, good or evil, whatever life we may live. We do have our inner voice, and it can change our lives and our relationships. If you have a wicked heart, a wicked inner voice, it can change you because you go be around wrong individuals that continue being around wrong individuals, or you have a good side in you and you earn the recognition that you have a good, and you try to be around others to help them understand they got recognition, they have good. Um, it says the next one is I shouldn't be left alone with my own thoughts isn't a sign of weakness. It's a cry for companionship or compassion. This right here, and that's what it was when I was speaking with my sister throughout these bonus notes. I wasn't saying like I started off saying I should not be left alone with my thoughts. It's not. I wasn't saying that some bad, which can happen, but at the moment it wasn't something necessarily bad. I was just off my medication, but I was needing more of somebody around me that understood me. You know, once again with the companionship title, I was wanting not like I said with the pity necessarily. When I announced with my anxiety, it was more that I wanted somebody to understand that if you see me seem to be different, it's a reason behind it. The next one is the Lord is my shepherd isn't something we quote, but realization that we aren't going through our lives aimlessly. That one is a tough one. I'm 100% firm believer in if you're gonna say something in the Bible, say the whole thing. A lot of individuals take part of the Bible and try to chop it up. They would take, instead of a whole verse, they would take part of a verse to try to fit their situation. That's why when I always state, when I do my podcast, do this YouTube, grab a Bible, read along, read it for yourself, to understand. Despite I might have a stutter, I'm not adding or changing anything. That's why I even tell everybody, ever watch this or listen to me, it comes from the King James Version of the Bible. That's the only Bible I study. That's the one I live by. You find a King James Version of the Bible, you listen to it and study it and read along. You're going to read and study the same exact words that I am going by. So, like I said, a lot of individuals have different other versions of the Bible. A lot of individuals say different things that fit their conform their lives. I do not do that. I say again, hate. I know hate's a strong word. That's why I use it. Hate individuals that do that. They try to conform. And it says in the King James Version of the Bible, you cannot change, add, subtract. You cannot do nothing. From what is written down, you go with. If you don't understand what's written down, for a reason, study it. Every part of the Bible has a backstory. And nothing in the Bible is actually put in the Bible for the idea of just, boom, there it is, and walk off. No. It has a backstory to it. It's up to you to study it. Be a student of the Bible. I highly encourage it. Since I've been doing this podcast, this one and then the prior one prior to Passionate Prophet, it has made me not necessarily more spiritual than others. It has helped me be more educated, helped me has been more responsible. The, like, the more you put in you, the more you get out of you. You understand? It will change your walk, your talk, your attitude. It will change everything about you, because if you're devoted to it, you're going to become better. Just like an athlete. If an athlete wants to become better, what does the athlete do? The athlete practices. The athlete studies. And I recommend you be a warrior, soldier, athlete, whatever title you want to give yourself, of the Bible, because it will make you a better individual in life. Trust me. Since I've been doing this roughly 2 years now, I sleep better. Ask anybody around me when I'm on my medication. I sleep better when I'm on medication. I actually am a better individual. The medication is not a crutch. The medication is there solely to help me keep my mind focused because of my health issues. Now, that is me speaking from my experience. I'm just suggesting, educating, motivating, like the goal behind the podcast. Like I said, the goal behind the podcast is to help others understand that they're not alone, and also to unify every day, whatever they like. I highly encourage that. I cannot force it on you. That's why I said it before. This podcast is not for everybody. It is for, this is labeled as spiritual and biblical. So, all right. That's bonus intro. Like I said, that was me and my sister having a conversation, and a little bit of my brother got added into that. So that's just starting to snowball now. All right, get into the verses. Verses, once again, is coming from Joshua 1, verse 7 through 9. And like I said before, it's from the King James Version of the Bible. All right, so verse 7 reads, "Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper. Wherever soever thou goest. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt therein day and night, that thou may observe to do according to all that is written therein. For now thou shalt make the way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, nor be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee wherever so thou goest." Now, to give you a backstory to that, this is the first chapter of Joshua, and what happened prior to these verses is Moses is going off the scene. This is the book of Joshua. Joshua was there through everything, and now God is speaking to Joshua, and like he mentions in these verses, he's letting them know, or everything you've seen in the past, you got it in you to carry on to the future, and you must continue the task which thou set before you, but never forget where you come from, and you got to have enough in you to carry on when times get good or bad. All right, that's the back. These are the verses. All right, to go along with that, with the, like I said, the title, Companionship, obviously God is talking to Joshua. To go along with the reasoning, we aren't as lonely as we think we are. Once again, God is talking to Joshua. He's telling him, I was with you back then. I'm going to be with you now. I'm going to be with you in the future. All right. Now, break these verses down. It says, only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou may observe to do according to the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or the left. It said that thou mayest prosper wherever ever thou goest. Now, he's giving. It's almost like he's bringing remembrance to Joshua's mind, and it's kind of like a pep talk. This is the moment. When God's speaking to you. You know it. And any individual, despite their life, they're gonna know when God's speaking to them. They might resist it, and they might go along with it, but you're gonna know when God's speaking to you. But if God's not speaking to you for every reason, which I've been there, it's lonely. So, but luckily for Joshua, in this moment, that God's speaking with him, and he's telling him, be courageous, be strong, be courageous, according to the law. And this is, they say, when you ever read the Bible, it says according to the law. This is prior to Jesus. So if you ever hear somebody say the law, this is prior to Jesus. You ever see somebody say the book, that meaning these is the early chapters of the Bible. The Bible took several years, hundreds of years to write. The book of the Bible is inspired by God. It's not written by God, it's inspired by God. So, knowing that, we go into verse 8. It says, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to be to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way. I can't speak this one. I apologize. Prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. All right. I just told you all that to tell you this. Once again, this is prior to Jesus. Book of law, like I said, the Bible, this is early parts of the Bible. This is what he know from study from, what he been through, what he studied from. He's, like I said before, if it's in your heart, you be a student, it will come out of you. The more you put in you, the more it come out of you. And he's saying, hey, you study the word, you live by it day and night, and you're going to be successful. You're going to go on. You're going to do good things. But you got to do what's necessary, what's required, in the right manner, right mind, everything. Verse 9, it says, have not I commanded thee, be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, nor be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goeth. This verse 9, just recap verse 7. He said, hey, did I just command you? Did I just not tell you to be strong and good courage? He said the same thing in verse 7. He said, only be thou strong and very courageous. That's the same. He just repeated. He's like, hey, listen. Make sure you listen. I was always told, go ask you once, go tell you once. It's not don't ask you twice or tell you twice. You ask once, tell you once. So he told him, and he asked him, and reminded, hey, let's recap, focus. Like he's like, hey, you over there, pay attention. And it says, be not afraid, nor be thou dismayed. Hey, it's like, hey, stay focused. Hey, you got all the Like I tell my kids, I gave you all the ingredients to cut the oven on. It's up to you to mix it and bake the cake. So, all right. It said, for the Lord thy God is with thee wherever, whatever so ever thy goeth. And he's like, hey, all right, you put me study my word, put it here, and you live by it out here, and I'm gonna be with you wherever you go. That's why, like, when you hear me pray, I pray about the hedge of protection. This is hedge of protection. It's gonna be around me. Lord, it's in front of you, behind you, either side, above you. He's there. He's like scientifically, which the force field basically. Um, that's to break the verses down. All right, so the ball has started. Me and my sisters had this conversation. I put the notes with it. The ball's getting bigger. All right, go into the notes. The first one is devoted. Devoted is loyalty, attachment, and concern. Longing. Longing is craving for something unattainable. Fellowship. Fellowship is friendly relationship or cooperation. Routine is summed up as regular course, unwavering response. Necessary. Necessary is defined as fundamental or all important or simply as a must have. Understood or understand. Understand is to grasp or to accept as true. Clarify or clarifying is to make clear or to free confusion. Calm. Calm is free from this discernment or free from disruption, or it's the stillness or absent of. Gratitude. Gratitude is the feeling of being thankful or gratefulness. Stubbornness. Stubbornness is unreasonably unmovable or unmoving, or something as simply as something that's difficult. Stressful. Stressful is something which I hear this a lot. It's something that is irritating or something that can make you a nervous wreck. All right. All right. So now we're getting to the bottom of the hill. The snowball is real big now. It's getting to the bottom of the hill. All right. To relate these notes back into the title, back into the bonus notes, back into the verses, back into the reasoning. Devoted. Loyalty, attachment, or concern. God is concerned in everything we do. We should be concerned in everything that we should do. God is loyal to us despite our ups and downs. Like I was praying, I'm glad he didn't throw the clay away. He's still molding, still working, still trying to make me into what he want to be. That's why I prayed before. I said, whatever we say and do to bring us one step closer to where he want us to be. Not what we want to be, what he want us to be. Concern, attachment. We should be attached to whatever he wants. He's attached to. Like my preacher says, I'm for wherever God's for. I'm against wherever he's against. Longing. Longing is the craving for something unattainable. We deep down have a longing for something. For me, I have a longing for somebody listening to understand where I'm coming from. I don't care if it's one person. I don't care if it's 100 people. I don't care if it's 1,000 people. I want somebody that maybe watch this or listen to this podcast to understand where I'm coming from. That's what I'm craving for. Is it unattainable? It's a possibility. But that's what I'm longing for. Understand what deep down where I'm coming from. Fellowship. Fellowship is a friendly relationship or cooperation. Fellowship, friendly relationship. If you do not have a friendly relationship with God, um, which I've been there before, it sucks. Like I said before, it's quiet. You don't want it to be quiet. Routine, regular course, unwavering response. To give you an example of that goes all the way back to the original goal behind the podcast. Um, Unifying every day with everyday prayer life. That's the reason behind the whole podcast, every podcast. So when you think of routine, I want to make it your routine that you pray. Not pray just because, oh man, my toe hurts. Or just pray like, hey, yay, I got $100. No. Pray. It says in the Bible, pray without ceasing. Do not stop praying. Pray for everything. Pray for good, pray for bad, pray for... And the thing, like I said before, continue saying, don't be selfish in your praying. That's why you hear me say pray. I say pray for not just me, but my wife, my kids. I pray for my entire family. I pray for not for just my home, but everybody else's home. I pray for not for just my work family, my church family. I pray for military family. I pray for each and every individual I come across in my everyday walk. When I say that, that is me praying, having a real routine of praying for everybody. Never be selfish in your praying. Necessity or necessary is something that is fundamental, all important, or must have. I feel it's necessary to pray. Just like God felt it necessary to have a pep talk, so to speak, with Joshua. Say, hey, you can sleep. Hey, what are you doing? Stuff you've been through is necessary to get you where you need to go. It's all important when God talks to you. It's a must-have that you keep the God inside of you, the Word inside of you, the law, this book of law. That's what he's talking about in verse 8. Is all a must-have when he said, "Be strong and have good courage." We all must be strong, have good courage. You know, and it says, "Whoever thou goest." You know, God's going to be with us if we do that. Understand or understood. Understand is to grasp, to accept as true. When God shows you something, God leads you through something, that's what you need to grasp on. That he's genuine, he's real, he helps you. Grasp onto that. Accept it's true. If it's written in the Bible, it is true. Like I said, if you do not understand or study and for more understanding, clarify or clarifying is to make clear, to free confusion. I just said that. I said again, if you do not understand, study and to help you understand, help you make clear. So I recommend what I have. A lot of people don't like it. I have because I study a lot. I have a reference Bible version of the King James Bible. It's every verse the Bible has, but it also has, say, like if it mentions something in Revelations, and it's been spoken before in Genesis, so it will actually refer me back to where it started from, wherever verse it started from. If it has a saying in the Bible, it reverses. Even note how many times it was referred to. So that's what I have. I have a reference Bible, but it is a King James Bible, reference Bible. Calm. Calm is free from disturbance, stillness, or absence of. That's what my sister had. Me and her were doing when we first started listening to bonus notes. She was calming me down. You know, she was creating a stillness, and And what I was absent of was the understanding that, back to the reasoning, that I'm not alone as I thought I was, and I had companionship that relates to the title. Um, Gratitude. I've been saying the whole time, I give God the glory. You hear my sister, if you want to listen to her podcast, listen to her podcast, watch her YouTube channel. I recommend that. You will hear that phrase a lot. I love my sister Def. She says that a lot. Give God the glory. I think that's her favorite phrase. Give God the glory. Love it. I love hearing her say it. Love hearing her say it. Like I said, gratitude is the feeling of being thankful or gratefulness. So, um, feeling of being thankful. I'm so thankful for individuals in my life. I pray all the time. Thanks for the good influence, the bad influences. Anything you do, you're going to leave an impression on somebody. And I thank God for that. Stubbornness, unreasonably unmoved or unmoving, and something that is simply difficult. People can be stubborn or difficult to deal with. That is the human race. You put more than one person in the room, and one of them going to be stubborn about something. Unmoving. Be unmoved or unaffected by your surroundings. Yes, that is a difficult thing to do. I can sit here and tell you that, because if you weren't listening in the beginning, I was going through some things when I first started writing this podcast. I was being moved by my environment. I learned to go back, like I said before, with the calm. My sister helped calm me or bring a stillness. It got me grounded. Unreasonably. This is like saying, stubborn as a goat or stubborn old mule. I know individuals like that in my life. I've been that way. We all can be that way at times, but I know individuals that seem like they're that way all the time. Stressful. Like I said before, I hear this all the time. I say it all the time. Stressful is something that is irritating, and it can make you a nervous wreck. Having anxiety, the lowest thing can make me a nervous wreck. The world is stressful all the time, and even when even writing this podcast, I gotta block out everything around me to do it. So, and it can be irritating. I'd like to thank you for listening. If you're listening to the podcast, I'd like to thank you for watching. Like I said, I'm going to put my sister's link below in the description. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, from my house to yours. If you at any time enjoy any of this, share with everybody. Because not everybody's going to get it, but I promise you, when you do get it, you're going to be coming back for more. So, thank you.